to sleep last night. I already have sleeping problems, so I woke up this morning and found out who won. Y'all pray for me. All right. Thank you, sir. You're so kind. It's good. Thank you. Lord, I got some good brothers around here. Thank y'all, brothers. Thank y'all. So tonight we're supposed to talk about the prerequisites of prayer. But I feel like I would be doing you all an injustice if I did not allow us to vent and discuss what happened on last night. So we're gonna give an opportunity to have some discussion tonight. If there is, typically most of us are Democrats. If there are any Republicans in the room, they have the same rights as everybody else to give their opinion and discuss whatever they want to discuss. You don't have to tell anybody who you voted for. We can just talk about whatever we talk about. But I believe that we need to at least do a debriefing tonight. I'm sure some of you have had some conversations with some people today, but I think it would be good for us as a Bible study and people of prayer and faith that we kind of talk about it. We talked about it a little bit in Wednesday morning, and I will share that with some of you all that were not there. But we will begin with prayer. Deacon Brayboy, would you please lead us in a word of prayer, please, sir? Amen. Amen. So our next Bible study, we'll be talking about the prerequisites of prayer. Of course, we know that a prerequisite is something that has to be in place before you do something. So we're going to talk about what are the prerequisites for us to even go to God in prayer, okay? Tonight, it was a long night last night for Kamala and the Democrats, which is, if not all of us, most of us. I know some of you were praying for victory, so was I. But it didn't happen. And so now we got to move on. We got to move on. We need to process, however we all individually process, and get to where we need to be and continue to fight. The fight is not over. The fight will never end, even after the Lord takes us home to glory. People will still be here fighting for various causes. All of us think we're right. Y'all know that, right? What was that, a couple of weeks ago in Wednesday Bible study, a few weeks ago, there was some discussion. Those of you who have come to the Wednesday morning Bible study know that they meet for at least 2 hours. And so there's a whole lot of discussion and fellowshipping and different things going on. But somehow they got on the election. And one of our members, regular attenders, just could not understand how somebody could vote for Donald Trump. And, you know, she got very animated and was giving her opinion and yada, yada, yada. And so then I had to take off my Democratic hat and put on a Republican hat, because I'm one of those who believe that we can disagree and still be civil, right? We don't have to cuss each other out. We can believe diametrically opposing things and still treat each other with respect without cussing each other out wanting to fight. So I was the devil's advocate, and I shared with her a list of things that I believe were reasons that people vote for Donald Trump. You know, we just automatically demonize other people when they have different views than we have. But sometimes we got to try to put ourselves in their shoes to understand that there are a whole lot of other dynamics going on in other people's lives and other people's spaces that we know not of and we're not aware of that informs their decision making. Okay? So here's what I want to do tonight. I'm going to break us up in a few groups. Put 4 here, 4 on that side, y'all, 4 on that side. The first 4 right here, stopping with Morris and Wall, and then 5 leading back. Would you all get together for me? Here's what I want you to do. Now listen, everybody knows what a safe space is, right? Right? That means even if you say something that I totally disagree with and something that makes my skin crawl, I'm gonna watch my behavior and watch what I say, and I'm gonna be kind and loving in my response to you. Can we do that, y'all? Now, this may not be any fun for those who are online. I started not to even broadcast on tonight, but I do think that maybe those online might be interested in some of the things that we come up with. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to put yourself in folks' shoes that voted for Trump. Whether it's a white person, a white male, a white female, a black female, a Hispanic male, a Hispanic female, whatever. Gay, straight, blue, purple, okay? Try to put yourself in other people's shoes and give me a list of why you think they would have voted for Donald Trump. Can y'all do that? I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. It is 6:43. At 6:53, I want one person from your group to come up and share. All right, so make a written list out. If you need to put it in your phone, put it in your phone. And if you are online and you have my cell phone number, you can text me what you think. And if I get an opportunity, we'll share that also. So for those of you who are online tonight, we were going into the prerequisites of prayer, but tonight we're debriefing the election and trying to put ourselves in other people's shoes to understand, because many people in the church and in our circles have told us they don't understand why some people can vote for Trump. Well, now our Bible study group is actually putting themselves in other people's shoes and coming up with reasons that they think people would vote for Donald Trump, even though they would not. So we're just doing this exercise for 10 minutes for those of you who are online. Again, if you want to send me, if you have my phone number, you can text me why you think persons voted for Donald Trump. And then we're going to have some discussion about it, just debriefing after the election to try to get some of this stuff out of our system so we can move on with our lives. Amen? Make sure y'all writing this down. I don't see people writing. Got 2 minutes. For those of us who just joined us online, we were scheduled to do the prerequisites of prayer tonight, but instead we're doing a debriefing of the election results. So if you're sick of the election, you might want to tune us out until next week. But what this group is trying to do is put ourselves, because many Democrats or many people that we know personally tend to say they don't know how folks could vote for Trump. So the group is putting themselves in other people's shoes, trying to come up with reasons they think people voted for getting ready to be second time around President Trump. Got 1 minute. All right, y'all. Time's up. Time's up. So let's do this. I want to start with why you think people should not have voted for Donald Trump. This is not the question, the original question. Character. Anybody, we'll open it up to the whole floor. Lies. Racist. Maybe I shouldn't have opened it. Whoa. Got that. Maybe I shouldn't have went in that direction. Listen, y'all gonna have me writing all night. All right, I get it. Let's stick with what we started with. I opened up a can of worms on that one. All right, we're gonna go back. So what we're trying to do is, how many of you just don't understand, by show of hands, just don't understand how people could vote for Donald Trump? That's everybody but one. All right? So we're going to start over here with where the one at, and whoever is the spokesperson, come on up and tell us. Let me share something with you all before you come. So here are some exit polls from 10 states that were key states. All right? And these key states, exit polls is when they're coming out, they interview people, find out who they voted for and why. So this is not, a massive amount of numbers, but it just kind of give you an idea of how people are thinking. All right? So the exit polls, they asked the gender. It was 55% men, Republican men, 42% Democratic men, 45% Republican women, 53% Democratic women. So let me scroll down. They asked the race. Then it says sex by race, okay? So when you go to sex by race and you go to white men voted 60% for Donald Trump, 37% for Kamala Harris. White women, which is the group that the Democrats were leaning on, voted 53% for Donald Trump and 45% for Kamala Harris. When it comes to black men, this has been discussed a lot. Black men voted for Donald Trump at 21%. Last time, I think it was half of that. So he made some inroads. 77% of black men voted for Kamala. Black women, 7% voted for Donald Trump. 91% voted for Kamala Harris, which is normative. Listen to this one. Latino men, 55% voted for Donald Trump, 43% voted for Kamala Harris. Latino women, 38% voted for Donald Trump, 60% voted for Kamala. All other races, 46% voted for Donald Trump, 48% voted for Kamala. And I won't go into all the age groups right now. It's quite a few age groups. Goes into college, last grade. I think what I gave you was enough to have a discussion about. So we're gonna let you all come up and tell us. You put your shoes, somebody else's shoes on the other side. So now all of you all are Trump supporters. So come on up here and tell me why your reasoning for voting for Donald Trump.
These are not my reasons, these are not our reasons, but these are the reasons that we came up with why people voted for Donald Trump. The people voted their pocketbook, the economy, immigration, and lies about losing jobs. They said if you don't have anything and they tell you they're going to give you something, people voted for that. Evangelicals wanted what they wanted, didn't care about his character. Trump has Congress, courts, and big business all wrapped around his finger because he tells lies. All the people saw were promises which were not fulfilled the last time he was president. We came to the conclusion that politics are very messy and it's easy to lose your character. And finally, we said there's too much money in politics. It corrupts the system and it puts everything out of balance. It's not the will of the people.
All right, I'll stop writing. But two that stick out to me is the economy and lies. So the economy, and we'll say pocketbook, because the economy is the whole economy. Pocketbook is my personal finances, and then lies. How many of y'all agree with that? Okay. All right. Group number two.
Too short. Hello, okay. This is not how we feel. Can I say how we feel first?
No. We already know how you feel. Why everybody got to do a disclaimer when they come up here? Go ahead.
He's white and he's a man. Out of ignorance, taxes and money, greed and selfishness, was not going to let a woman win. He can pardon himself from the 34 felony convictions, racist, Project 2025, using him as a pawn, take the people of color back to where they think we need to be, false promises, the evangelical, privilege and power. Now, can I say?
We already know how everybody feels when y'all raise y'all hands. This ain't quite going the way I thought it was going, because y'all still sliding in some stuff on me. I really wanted y'all to seriously say, I think people voted for him for this, and I don't know what I hear y'all saying it in your head. We are serious. Okay, I just didn't know it was gonna go that left, but that's fine. Group number 3. Yes.
Okay, so we've got pretty much a lot of what's already up there. I think it's kind of standard economy. Obviously, the thought on out with us on the economy was that people had more spending, but they felt that he's better equipped to handle the economy because he's a so-called billionaire. Okay, rhetoric. He kind of speaks what they want to hear. White male privileges. They want to keep it. I ain't voting for a black female, I don't care what. And I think really what the underscore is he gave them to permission structure to hate who he hates.
They said the border and Obama. All right, group 4, your turn.
Pretty much. So we said that their character aligns with Trump. Young people, for the most part, they were voted for him because of the stimulus checks. They thought they came from him. Greed, lining their pockets. They didn't want to vote for a woman. They believe in him as somewhat of like an idol. He does what they want to do or say. He doesn't say what they really want to do or say, but they can't because, yeah. They're white supremacists. Keep the blacks in their place. Border security and deportation of immigrants. And immunity of the police. Those are not my words.
Okay. Just looking for my phone, see how much time I got. All right, so again, those who are with us online, we're doing something different tonight, kind of debriefing from, it's a good thing we can still laugh, debriefing from the election last night that did not go the way that Democrats wanted to go, and the groups here tonight are putting themselves in other people's shoes, and they have given us reasons why they think some people vote for Trump. All right, and we know this is a generalization. Everybody doesn't fall into these categories, and there are probably numerous categories, bunch of categories that are not up here, but here's what the teams came up with. The economy, people voting their pocketbook, they believed the lies, and then they said receiving something like stimulus checks or lower taxes, or I'm adding that to what they said. The second group said they voted for him because he's a white male. Thank you. Ignorance. Some voted for taxes and money, helps their bottom line. Some did not vote for her because they voted for Trump instead of her because she's a woman. And I guess some voted for, they voted for Trump so he could pardon himself. Okay, and then they were a lot of evangelicals who are big supporters of Donald Trump. The third group said the economy, his rhetoric, white male privilege, because she's a black female, that Trump gives people permission to hate, his stance and comments on the border, and he hates Obama. The fourth group said they have similar character, And if there were some Republicans in here, we'd probably break out in a brouhaha. They have similar character. A lot of them believe that he was responsible for the stimulus checks. They voted for him because she's a woman. Many people voted for him because they idolize him. He is indeed a Jesus figure to a lot of people. He speaks their mind. He says what a lot of them, at least in the past, have been afraid to say or that they want to say because of white supremacy, because of the border and deportation, because that's what he's saying he's going to do, and then for police immunity. Okay, that's a pretty good list. So I was on TikTok today. I'm a TikToker. I sleep with TikTok on with my AirPods in my ears. And I either wake up and it's still playing or everything's gone dead. But there was a young, I think he was Hispanic. He was having a conversation with an older white gentleman. And he said, why would you vote for Donald Trump? He said, because I know you and typically you operate on facts. He said, and Donald Trump don't do nothing but lie. Everything come out of his mouth is a lie. So why would you vote for Donald Trump? This is just one answer to the question that we're asking. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. He pretty much said, well, first of all, white people built this country. And the guy said, no, black people and Asians who came and built the railroads and all the immigrants built the country. And he said, well, do you think it would have happened without white people? So then they kept talking, and this is what came out. He said, this is the only place we control. There's nowhere else in the world that we control. He said, and they're talking about the border, deportation, not allowing more people in, sending people back out of the country that are here and they have not become citizens. And I like that because it will slow down the erosion of white people in this country. Because if we keep going the way we're going, then white people are going to be the minority, and minorities are going to be the majority, and we want to keep control of our country. He actually said that. He said out loud what a lot of people won't say out loud. So I'm going to try to see if I can add to this list. When I saw that Hispanic men voted 55% for Donald Trump, and Hispanic women, I think it was 38%, it troubled me because they are people of color. They are minorities in this country. But you've got to understand that now we into how many generations of Hispanics and Latinos who have come to this country. Just like us, they have been Americanized. They're chasing the American dream. They got the pickup truck. They got the boat. They got the house. Some got the vacation house. They got money. Amen, somebody? So now they have become Americanized, and when you start talking about taxes and your pocketbook, some people, that's all they care about, all right? The other thing is that we have had black and white pastors who have gotten up in their pulpits or their Bible studies and have pretty much said, don't vote for Kamala. Some of them called her name, some of them didn't call her name, but they pretty much said, if you vote for her, then there's something wrong with you. You ain't Christian. Believe it or not, a lot of that has happened. Some people ain't gonna never vote for a woman. I don't care what you say. I think the gender piece is the main piece. That's what happened to Hillary Clinton. She was just as white as she can be, but she was a female, and this country still has problems with women being in leadership. Are y'all following me? The other thing is that Hispanics tend to be Catholic. Catholics are very conservative. When I was in seminary at Wake Forest, my theology and the theology of some of my black counterparts, our theology lined up more with the Catholic priests than it did with anybody else, because we were more conservative. So when you take a group of folk who are majority Catholic, that tells you they are majority conservative. The Catholic Church is against abortion. Sometimes, they go back and forth on it. Sometimes it seems like they're also against any type of birth control. They finally relented on that years ago, I believe, but they still are not for abortion. When it comes to issues of sexuality, the Catholic Church is very conservative. They are not going to say that gay marriage is okay. They are not going to say that being homosexual is okay. So you got to understand, those were two of the main platforms that were a part of the platform for the Democrats, all right? So many of us believe, hey, a human being gets to choose how they want to live and yada, 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 but then there are other people that feel like we need to legislate it. Are y'all with me? Yes, sir. Yeah. So now you got that. So they have their own religious views, right? Which is typically very conservative. Of course, there are others, just like any other group of people. You got people all over the rainbow. But I have found that Latinos and Hispanics tend to be, if they're people of faith, the majority of them tend to be Catholic. Okay? Why? Because the colonizers, the Catholics, came and took over a lot of these places, and so those people who came afterwards became Catholic. So y'all see how it's a little bit more nuanced than you might believe. So if I'm making a certain level of money, and Donald Trump was in office, and I paid $50,000 in taxes, and then when the Democrat got in, I paid $150,000 in taxes, what you think I'm gonna do? Even though I personally believe that the first 2 years of a president's administration, you are actually riding on what the previous president did. After that first 2 years and you get into year 3 and 4, then I believe your policies begin to take over. But the first year or two, you are either reaping the benefits or the consequences of what I did as president before you got in, because you ain't had time to change my policies yet, right? So now Trump is getting ready to inherit, even though prices are high, Trump is getting ready to inherit a good economy. The stock market in the last 6 months has been the highest that it has ever been. I think it got up to 45,000. Those of you who are investors like me, it's been over 40. That was already high. It jumped up to 45. All right? Are y'all listening to me? So there are reasons. If you're in the stock market and you got a couple $100,000 in the stock market, right? Now, if you think Trump did it, you're going to vote for Trump. If you think the Democrats are doing good, you're going to vote for the Democrats. If you are, and for me, there's a difference between pro-life and anti-abortion. I'm pro-life. A lot of these people are anti-abortion. Y'all know what the difference is, right? Anti-abortion means I'm just against abortion. Pro-life is different for me, because when I say pro-life, I'm pro-life when you're in the womb. I'm pro-life when you come out the womb. I'm pro-life when you are a baby. I'm pro-life when you are a toddler. I'm pro-life when you are a teenager. I'm pro-life when you become an adult. I'm pro-life whether you are black, white, brown, yellow, pink, or green. I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life when you commit a crime. I'm pro-life when you're sitting in a prison cell. That's why I don't believe in the death penalty. The reason I don't believe in the death penalty might be a little different from you all, but I don't believe in the death penalty because too many people get falsely accused, and I would rather let somebody who's guilty go free than to kill somebody who's innocent. That, for me, that's pro-life. That from womb to death, we do everything we can to make everybody's life the best that we can help them make it. Now, some people you can't help, I know that, but I'm talking about just in general, folk who working hard every day, trying to raise their kids, trying to have a family, or maybe you single and you just trying to survive and have a nice career and live your life. I believe that America and our government and all of our systems that are put in place, that should be their goal, to make the lives of Americans better irregardless of what your background is. That's my thoughts. Are y'all with me? So I don't know where I was going, but I went somewhere. So So I'm trying to throw some stuff at you because I have friends who are Republican, and we get along great. Sometimes we go back and forth over politics, but guess what? We remain friends because they respect how I feel, I respect how they feel, and most of the time, they start saying stuff like, well, I like him because he just speaks his mind and he don't care what people think about it. I like him because my taxes was lower when he was president, even though he probably didn't have nothing to do with that. You know, they started saying stuff like that. I think some of the brothers like him because of his bravado and machismo. Because he's a man's man. I won't tell you what I told my wife. I'll use better language in here. I didn't use a curse word, but I didn't. But it's okay. But I think some of them, just because he comes off as this tough, I say what I want to say, what you gonna do about it kind of dude, I think some men gravitate towards the testosterone, right? Cause some of that has been, to me, some of that has been, manhood has been somewhat diluted in some cases. And, you know, that rough and tough kind of man that we used to see all the time, you know, smoking Marlboro cigarette or something like that, or in a Ford truck commercial, that's not as common as it used to be, all right? So, so now there's a whole type of mixture of what men look like and how men carry themselves. But I think those men who consider themselves that rough and tough kind of guy, I think some of them may have been attracted to his bravado. Are y'all with me? So when you start talking about issues of sexuality and you start talking about anti-abortion, very conservative people, those are two of the linchpins of how they vote. And many people will say, yeah, I don't like that stuff that he be saying and doing, but he's with me on this policy. So I'm voting with him on this policy. So now the question is, what do we do? What do we do? Because we took a butt whooping last night. That wasn't just like by the skin of your teeth. He won, I think he won all of the swing states. I mean, the map was almost all red. And Obama won most of those states that Trump won. So somebody said to me, I think it's because she was black. I said, Obama was black. And he ran the table. So the only thing left is what? Female. That's just me talking. I can be just as, you can disagree with me and I can be just as wrong as whatever. There are a bunch of reasons, but I think that was a big reason. Yes, sir. And let me get this mic.
The very thing you just said about Obama is really what gave Trump the ability to be able to get elected. Without Obama, Trump's brand of politics would have never even made it. We talked about that in our little group back there. You remember George Wallace. George Wallace had that same sort of tempo, and he got rejected. But because Obama got elected twice, a black man, that gave them the ability to say, okay, we ain't going back there. And so that's Trump. And again, all you have to do is just listen to Trump. He don't make no sense. He does everything that you would think. I mean, literally, if anybody else did that, there was no way they'd still be walking around. But because Trump is who he is, the bravado and stuff that you're talking about, he gets away with everything. Now he's going to get away with the two daggone crimes that he had with the, I think you was telling me that the Justice Department is talking about dropping the 2 charges that he already has, which makes sense because if they don't, he'll just drop them when he gets in. So I think the mere fact that we elected a black president is really what caused us to get Trump.
That and Obama, at the press thing, Obama made so much fun of him and cracked so many good jokes. He was hot about that thing. And I think that had something to do with it all. So, anybody else? Did you get my text, Brother Morris? Yes. So, wait a minute.
as I stated, in all reality, as a people, when it comes to integrity, we have gone to hell in a handbasket. There is no integrity.
Unpack that. Talk a little bit more.
Because we're talking about the evangelicals. You know, they're conservative, but